Hey traders, Raghee here, and in this free recap video we're going to talk about how I gauge sentiment in the morning as a day trader. Now, a couple things specific to where we are right now in terms of the contract rollover cycle. We are seeing the March contract becoming the front month, and 1 week before the last trading day for December, you'll see what's known as the roll date. I call it the pit date. It's basically the day you'll see the pit, right, in the open outcry system, and then the charting platforms roll from the December contract into the March contract. We're taking a look at December S&P right now. Now remember, what you'll see is open interest will start to increase in March. It'll start to decrease in December, but normally there'll be kind of this lingering volume that's still in the December contract that you won't see in the March. When both open interest and volume have moved over to March, and you're going to have to do this before next Friday, in this window, remember, gaps are going to be the issue. The contract to contract gaps, things of that nature. So just be aware of the shifting volume and open interest landscape. Okay, having said that, again, this is the December contract, and there's a few things that I would recommend you do every morning when you're setting up your charts, and that is take a look at the sentiment at 2 a.m. Eastern. What kind of shift, if any, did we see with 2 a.m., with 3 a.m., and finally 4 a.m. Now, I shouldn't say finally. That kind of concludes sort of this pre-market psychology that involves what Paris, Frankfurt, London, and the Asian close are doing with price action. And you'll notice most of what we saw with the Asian Open was a sell-off, with the Paris, Frankfurt, and London Open sell-off, and then into the Asian close, a little bit more weakness. And then we want to know what happens at 7 a.m. Eastern. At this point, the market was leveling off, and it was also trading back above the middle line of the volume-weighted average price. So this is a 1-minute chart, and this is the middle line right here of the volume-weighted average price. Once we get above that, near term, this is a 1-minute chart. Near term, I'm a bit more of a bull on the open. So basically between about 9:30 and call it 10:30, 11 o'clock. So about 9:30 to 10:30 is really a great, I think, sweet spot for trading morning market sentiment. Okay, and then by 11:30, we're winding down the European session. We're heading into the East Coast lunch, the midday doldrums, things like that. But that hour between basically the bell to 10:30 into 11, really at most, you want to be focused on what I think are the morning's best trades. The later we get in the morning, the further past 10:30, 11 Eastern we get, to me, it's really diminishing returns. All right, so what does this mean? Well, we can see the bounces off the middle line until finally here's the bell ringing, and then what I'd like to see is the market move down to preferably a combination of not just a test of the volume-weighted average price, but also the expected price movement range. And I'll talk a little bit more about the EPMR in the premium video, but suffice to say, those of you that have been with me here in the membership and non-membership, I've talked a lot about the historical price movement with volatility tool that I use from AutoChartist. This is a tool that I pay for. This is a third-party tool that really has no peer. It's a unique way of looking at the historical price rhythms on an hour-to-hour and day-to-day basis, and the expected price movement range has the additional aspect of volatility. What is the volatility today? So it's a fantastic tool for day traders. But this is going to start with looking at support, resistance, major, minor psychological levels, and of course this middle line. So off we go, quick move, and this is really a big part of what I look to do every single morning. I mean, you're taking a look at it. This is what I look to do every single morning about the first, call it 30 to 90 minutes of the day, really focusing in on that hour between 9:30 and 10:30. I mean, I want this kind of move. Take that average, or if we happen to be flirting with the lower level, either take the lower to the average or take the average to the high, and that's really just one of a handful of trades I'll look for every morning, and it gives me a pretty good idea of the sentiment for this particular market, whether it be S&P, Dow, Nas, Russell, in the opening minutes of each day. Hope this helps. Consider using this volume weighted average price in this way, and I'll see you in the next update.